Welcome back for episode 2 of What Are We Doing? This week we're joined by Danielle Hill. All right, so thank you very much, Danielle, for joining us today and taking time out of what is undoubtedly a busy schedule at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you just want to introduce yourself to everybody, tell us a little bit about you, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so I am Danielle Hill. I'm 20 years old.
Listen,
And
we need to point out there's no relation.
there's not.
We're not sitting in the same house.
Different room.
Sorry.
No, yeah. So I'm 20 and I'm currently studying sport and exercise sciences in University of Jordanstown. Currently a 4-time Irish senior record holder, which is nice, in the 50 back row, 50 front row, 100 back row and the 100 front row as well.
Nice. So you swim for Lauren at the minute, obviously. I have the dubious pleasure of being your coach. You haven't always swum for Lauren, though, have you?
No, so I started off swimming at just a local swimmers, which was Alliance at the time in the Grove Bras. So that was a long time ago because it's now knocked down. But I kind of started off there, and then competitively I didn't start swimming until I went and moved to Templemore, and that was under Fiona, who's currently with Lawrence Swimming Club. And that's kind of where I started to take swimming seriously. Fiona was kind of the person and the coach who made me realise of my potential and where I could go if I really stuck with it and started to take some care in what I was doing, because I just used to show up to training and miss countless meters upon meters, and she was the first person that got to log a diary, which really changed my outlook on everything. So yeah, I started Templemore and then obviously went to Larne. I think it was 2014, 2015.
Yeah, okay. A little bit before, a couple of years before.
Yeah, 2.
It's long enough. So you've been swimming. Has swimming always been your main sport? I know you're a Liverpool fan. We're going to try not to hold that against you too. Is actually whether you win the season or not this year, it'll be.
I know, what are the chances?
So, has swimming always been your first sport?
Yeah, so I was actually played football when I was younger as well. Obviously, Dad is. He used to be a runner, but played football as well at his local playing field. So I got into football at quite a young age, and it got to around 11 or 12, and I went to my first British Championships, and I came back with a gold medal in 200 backstroke, with like a crazy 6-second PB. Yeah. And I knew then that I had to choose.
I was there. I think I was there with Morgan in City of Belfast. I think that might have been the first time your swimming kind of is logged in my brain, is that 200 backstroke. It was a little short ginger kid who upset everybody really in the final. It was quite funny.
Like I went in with like a time of like 2:36, and I knew maybe if I'd done it right, I would come out maybe top 5 with a 2:32 or something. And I went down that last 50 like an absolute Trojan and came out with a 2:28. Like, I still remember it. I still remember watching myself. There was a big screen above the pool. Still watching myself. I was like, I'm just coming past all these people. Like, it was crazy.
I was there with City of Belfast, I think, at the time with Morgan, and I remember that 200 backstroke. So it was pretty good. Is the 200 backstroke still an event you enjoy? I'm going to write this down, by the way, so if you say yes, you have back to haunt you.
I think it's weird. Like, I think any swimmer will understand when I say when you get a 200 right, it feels good. And I think I've only swam a 200 right probably 3 times. And I would say if you swim it right, I really do enjoy the event, and I like the training for the event because it pushes my body to a place where I don't really like to be, but somewhere that I thrive on in training, which I'm sure you probably understand more than anyone out there. But I would say it used to be 50 free because I liked kind of that whole idea of just getting up and just going. But I think now it's kind of turned to the 100 back. I think we have finally figured out how to swim that and what's the best way to swim it for us. So I think that has started to become the favourite.
Event. I was just about to ask you that. You said earlier on that you're Irish record holder on the 2 back and the 2 free events, long and short.
Yeah.
And if you had a preference, do you prefer long or short course swimming?
Definitely long course. I mean, if you see me swim and seen my turns, you would understand why. But at the same time, I think I am better on top of the water. So long course is just one of those things where you can get into the stroke a little bit better.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. Turns are a work in progress. So the 50 free and the 100 back, then, the 50 back is, from my point of view, the 50 back is probably frustratingly at the moment your best event. Frustrating because it's not an Olympic event. And I think if there was one race that kind of sticks out in my head in recent memory, it would be the 50 back from the last summer. Because it was pretty special. I'll have to thank Fran very much for the video that you posted of me during your race, which was just a little bit embarrassing. You say the training for the 200 back is it the training you prefer? Do you have a favourite set or a favourite session? And if it's not one of mine, that's fine. I'll not
I think I do have like a favourite session that we done like 2016, and it will forever stay in my head. So we done like our normal warm up that we always do, and we done like 3 400s IM or something stupid. So many 400 IMs before this being set, and it was like 5 100s heart rate and 4 50s max 3 times, and still to this day I remember how I felt.
Was it? What you say? It was your favourite set? Is that something I should write down now to do that again as a set when we go back 3 400?
Yeah, I think that's actually been the closest I've ever been to throwing up.
Yeah. That's for those watching who don't know. The frustrating thing about Danielle is that she flatly refuses to throw up at the end of sessions. It's just, no matter how hard you're making, it doesn't work. So is that your hardest set? Is that the hardest set you think you've done as well?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a set where you can push yourself, because the turnover I think was like 2 minutes and 60, so it gives you enough time to recover as such, and be able to go again. But again, does push you to a place where you're absolutely thrashed. So again, place where I like to be for some weird reason. But yeah,
I've done that one for a while. Obviously, it's been getting on to 4 years. I might have to go back. It's on that one out. I think my favourite set that we do on a reasonably regular basis, you probably know it, is the 1750s.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that there's just no way you can finish it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard you go, or if you do it right, you're not finishing. If we do 9, or we do 5 off 90 and 4 off 80, 3 on 70, 2 on 60, and then 50, 40, 30. And they're all just max. And I think it's safe to say that as a group, everybody's pretty much on their ass when that one's over. So that's a sure one.
It's a good set, but it's a frustrating thing. I think it's frustrates the life out of me. So it's just
Well, I think the closest you got. There was a set, I can't remember if it was the last time we did it or the one before, where you held 29-30 on backstroke for 15 of them, and then it was like 32 and you were grand, and then all of a sudden the last one you're literally watching going, she's forgotten how to swim.
It's like 50 seconds,
Just on, coming off the wall and floating, going no. That's
I believe it just like pops up, and all of a sudden it's just like your body cannot physically move anymore.
yeah. That's my favorite set.
I wonder why.
I wouldn't call it. I get the time like 6 or 7:50s, and then there's turnover times too short. You just end up just shouting at people, just trying to be enthusiastic as possible, and everybody's like thinking, "Pierce, shut up!" But you just along with it. But yeah, so that's good. So I noticed that you're wearing a Commonwealth top. Is that the which one is that you're wearing?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's good. So you were I'm not going to say fortunate. That's not right, because you qualified for these things. To get to Glasgow when you were what is 14?
14, yeah.
And a good experience when you got there.
Yeah, I mean, the year before I was an EOIOF eligible swimmer, and with none of us kind of qualified, but I wasn't first fastest for a backstroke, and they took a different girl. And the whole disappointment around that was kind of, for my parents, they thought that was it. I mean, it had only been 2 years of serious swimming, but they thought she doesn't have it in her to kind of come back from it. So luckily I did, and I got back down in the training with thanks to, I think at the time I was with, maybe ending with Fiona, starting with Raymond in Lauren. And we kind of switched the training around, and the sole aim was kind of to go to the Commonwealths or to get as close to that 50 back time as I could, because like we said, the 50 back time is kind of the one where I'm probably ranked the highest in Europe, in the world. So it's always been there or thereabouts. I still had to drop like second or 0.8 or something crazy. But yeah, I did qualify, and me and Rachel, both 14 at the time, were the youngest there to represent. I think there was maybe a guy from England who was like 12 or something, but he was like table tennis or a diver or something like that. But yeah, that whole experience was incredible, and still to this day is the only swim off I've ever done in my whole life. And it was to make a semi-final at the Commonwealth Games at 14.
Yeah, I kind of remember that as well. I think the Commonwealth Games were in April. Were they in June or something? June, July?
Yeah, they were June, July, yeah.
And I think I just started in the club kind of in February or March, just immediately before it. So I can take really no credit for it. I just remember watching it, I think actually I was in Canada, and I was watching it in the middle of the night because I was away on a trip.
You were away with different guys, yeah.
So I remember getting up and watching it in the middle of the night, and then seeing, and you'd come out with a message to Louise or something in your hand as well, hadn't you?
Yeah, that whole time I wrote different like messages to friends, family, and just people, just as a little shout out thing to do. But
I think when you get to these multi-sport events, that it either makes you or breaks you. You either get there and you're either dazzled by the lights and can't perform, or like you say, you're forced to perform in a swim off. For me, on literally as far away from Glasgow as you could possibly have been, it was kind of encouraging that you're 14, you get up into a semi-final or into a swim off, and you produce a lifetime best. So
yeah, it was an Ulster junior record at the time. It was probably my first or second ever record.
Yeah. So, I mean, that, from a coach's point of view, that's really quite encouraging. When you see somebody stepping up like that and not just there to party, really, So your backstroke and freestyle, I've said to a few people, I really like your freestyle. I think there's no real secret there. I have a sneaking suspicion in my head that if we really focused on it, we could probably have a really good 200 free. But at the moment, it's not an event that we've really focused on in any way, any meaningful.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that you're really a freestyler who swims upside down. No way disparaging on your backstroke, because it's phenomenal. But I think your freestyle is just top drawer, like, really, in terms of the stroke. So if you were to pick a drill for backstroke and a drill for freestyle, I mean, we don't do very many drills, in that we pick 2 or 3 and we do those drills. We drill every day, but we don't have 15 or 16 different drills. I kind of strip everything down and keep it real simple. But if you have a drill or a pointer on either of those two strokes, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I think for freestyle, when we first discovered the TikTok drill that we did, or that we still do, was really nice, because if you ever watch me swim, it is kind of like a catch-up swim out in front, which is good. But then whenever we changed to doing that 50 free or that 100 free, we needed to kind of drop back. That switch point needed to come back a little bit more. So I think that was nice, because it was the point where I realised in my own stroke what I could change and what I could fix. It helped me break down the stroke a lot.
It kind of helps
just kind of load everything.
Sorry, it kind of helps you pick the rate up a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's slightly different timing.
Yeah. So that just it made sense in a way. It wasn't just a pointless drill that I done to make my stroke look good. It actually made sense in my head why I was doing it. And I think for backstroke, it kind of goes back to when I was injured. And my favourite drill is double arm backstroke. Just for the fact that I used to do it to try and get both my left and right side. Obviously, I injured my left elbow, so I kind of always use it as a way of comparing both of them. And I know that I've done the video analysis on the stroke and the catch underwater when we were away in Tenerife, and we saw that one arm was quite wide on the catch and one arm was perfect almost, and it was the left arm that we'd obviously went back to scratch from. But that is a nice drill just to bring everything back to basics again. Quite easy. But
the drills don't have to be complicated though. I mean, I think it's not, like you said, as long as you can see a point in it, and as long as it's not just to fix something aesthetically. I think I've said to, I've probably said to you, I've said to a lot of people who've asked me about backstroke, because obviously with yourself and Melanie before you and Connor, people kind of linked my name with a little bit of backstroke about what we do. And I think they're really quite surprised that literally all we do is single arm backstroke, double arm backstroke, and one hesitation drill that we kind of rotate around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, head position and things like that are just aesthetics. Everybody's slightly different. And if it feels comfortable and it feels right, it doesn't matter really what it looks like if you're swimming fast. So as long as you can understand that in your head that you can get a drill that makes sense for you and what you want to achieve, then I think you're absolutely right on that one. So the last thing really, because I want to keep this reasonably short, is obviously at the minute we're not swimming, which is deeply frustrating. Today would have been, we're filming this on Saturday. I don't know what day we're going to post it out on, but it's Saturday today. And it's the Saturday that we have been working for 4 years. And I'm struggling with that in my head, that we're not seeing the result of the work that we've done. And I'm sure that you're the same. Sorry for bringing it up. But obviously, as you mentioned, you've been injured before, and you've been out of the water for a prolonged period of time. And if there's any sort of quick advice that you would just maybe, anybody who happens to be watching this, how to get through this little period of time when you're not able to do the one thing that you really want to do.
Yeah, so I mean, I was out of the water for 4 months back then, and the kind of the difference in this scenario is back then I was still able to go to the gym. So obviously we're on full lockdown, so I haven't seen anyone in 2 weeks. So that's the only difference, but obviously I'm still talking to them on social media. But I think the people around me at the time didn't let me get to a stage where I was feeling sorry for myself. So what happened was, it was a total freak accident, and they never let me blame myself or blame anyone else for what happened. And it was kind of like, right, what do we do now moving forward, rather than kind of dwelling on what had happened. And I think that everyone now has to set a new target and a new goal, be it the same target or be it a bigger one. But I think this is a time where goal setting really does come into play, and you have to have something in your mind, because if you don't, everything that's happening is just going to eat away at you. And I think just surrounding yourself with the right people. I know obviously I use the word surrounding quite lightly, but social media wise, just FaceTime and always friends. And if you are having any like thoughts or feelings that aren't really that nice, then write them down. Because in 2 weeks' time you might not feel like it, but you've moved past probably that stage, and you can look back and be like, oh, that's where I was 2 weeks ago, look where I am now. So I think just keeping that focus. I mean, I know that World Short Course is definitely going to happen in December, and that's where our next focus has to go towards. I know I'm not in the water, but again, I went and I broke an Irish senior record with only 2 months worth of training, like proper training, before 2 months of learning how to swim again, and then 2 months of proper hard work. So I just know that if I keep myself taking over and keep the body still moving, that the 15 years that I've been swimming for before that will hopefully hold me in some kind of shape or form, that when the season starts again, that I'll be ready to go.
It's excellent advice, Steve. I mean, obviously it's tough, and I said to you yesterday that the nice thing is that we're effectively going to be able to just lift this season and superimpose it on next year. And all the work that we've done, it's not wasted as long as you don't just sit on your backside now for 6 months. And you have to stay mentally strong. I think that's probably going to be enough for today, because to be honest with you, if anybody's got this far into the video, they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and I will no doubt catch up with you later in the day, later in the week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.